Hello, it's Halloween for 2019, October 31st. My name is Christopher Westfall with some updates on Medicare that you may need to know about. If you're new to Medicare, if you're looking for a Part D drug plan, or if you just bought one, if you were on a marketplace plan past the age of 65, and now you're on Medicare and you're paying a Part B penalty because you didn't know it at the time, all those are reasons why you need to stick around for this video. So today's video, we're going to share some agent perspective, other agents, not just me, and some of our YouTube viewers' commentary in the end, and then what happened in our office today. But first, this bait and switch thing is really rearing its ugly head. And this is when we've helped someone with their Part D drug plan because they asked us to. This is a current member of ours. We don't do drug plan lookups for people that are not clients of ours on the Medicare side. So if they have a Medicare supplement with us, we're happy to look at their Part D drug plan for next year. We've been doing that, and we have until December 7th to do that, so there's no hurry if you've not yet done that. But in doing so, we signed up one of our clients. They signed up with a Medicare supplement plan already and then a Part D drug plan. Then they get a call from the Part D drug carrier. Now remember, Part D drug plans are under the auspices of Medicare Advantage. They're in the same family of benefits there because it's just a component of it. But the Part D drug plans that we look for, we do so specifically based on your specific drug profile and how you can save the most money on a plan that matches your drug profile the best, and that's total out-of-pocket cost. That's what we look for. Well, these people are getting a sales pitch over the phone because they have an existing business relationship now with this Part D drug company. The drug company calls them and tries to get them to do what? Give up their original Medicare, give up their Medicare supplement, give up their Part D plan that, again, was tailor-made, specifically recommended because of their drug profile, and turn all of that in for an all-in-one plan. Here we call that the bait and switch. The bait is we're going to give you a drug plan specifically for what you've got, the Medicare that you earned, and the Medicare supplement to fill in the holes therewith. However, now they're going to be tempted to trade that in for zero premium plan that has the details, caveats, exclusions, limitations, and all that that are not so readily available to them during this phone call. The pitch goes something like this. You know, you can sign up for a plan and not have to pay that $17 a month drug premium anymore. Really? How do I do that? Well, it's an all-in-one plan. Matter of fact, you can get rid of that Medicare supplement too. We cover everything. How they're allowed to get away with that without looking through the summary of benefits and going through every single detail and limitation and exclusion and requirement that's sometimes found later in the very, very small print, I don't know. See, seniors are supposed to be protected by this scope of appointment nonsense that Washington came up that if we get the senior to sign this scope of the appointment to limit the conversation of the appointment down to this specific category of plans, which is required for every Medicare Advantage or Part D drug sale, then inherently the agents will know that there's a higher standard to which they have to conduct themselves in these appointments. But it could not be further from the truth. There are so many ways that they're finding to get away with that. And one of the members of my MedicareAgentTraining.com community, that's a training website where we have agents from around the country, more than 3,000, who are members of this website. They learn what's new in Medicare. We share ideas in a forum. And that's what I'm going to bring it to you today, is what one of the members posted. This is an agent named Vic. He said, this is his quote, not mine. He said, there is a lot of reasons that people are angry because things are messed up this year. This is what his experience is, not mine. Humana has mapped Walmart Part D drug plans, that's the old ones that were $12, $13, $14, $15, depending on where you were, now to a $60 plan. So what that means is in your notice of change, your annual notice of change, you may have received a document from them saying that you are going to be going to this plan and your premium from last year is going to be changed to this premium, which is going to be much, much higher, unless and until you intervene and reach out to us so we can make you on the other plan. What does that do? It gives an opportunity to put you on another plan and have that conversation again. So as he goes on here, when they call in just to remain on the Walmart plan for less money, they get hounded to enroll in a Medicare Advantage plan. When they say no, they get routed to an auto telephone system that errors out, then routes back for more of a Medicare Advantage pitch. WellCare just took over Aetna, which confuses some and concerns some. What happened there was In order for Aetna to merge with CVS, the Justice Department said that they would be a monopoly. They had to divest themselves of their Part D drug business for the time being. So everyone that had an Aetna Part D drug plan, that block of business was sold to WellCare in its entirety. That transition has been taking place and will be in full effect January 1, 2020. Now, what does that mean? It means if you had an Aetna Part D drug plan, you're going to have a WellCare Part D drug plan unless and until you intervene. That's what he's talking about here. He goes on, I have a client that called me and said they were told by a rep, just reaching out to you today as you have been a loyal client with Aetna Part D drug plan. And now we have WellCare taking over the Aetna policies. We're reaching out to all the clients to let them know they don't have to pay such high premiums, $17, just for drug coverage. We do have drug plans as low as $0, and they include dental and vision as well as other over-the-counter benefits. Would you like to see if one of these more cost-effective drug plans may be right for you? Drug plans. She told me she wanted to talk with me first because it sounded too good to be true, but this is just one example. There are many, mainly from WellCare and from Humana this year. Besides that, this has been going on for these companies for years. Besides that, there are more misleading commercials. Medicare.gov has become a mess, and shady call centers are calling these people like crazy. Not supposed to cold call for Medicare Advantage, but apparently it's the Wild West. Matthew, who's also got a significant YouTube presence on here, also commented in the forum today on the site, and he said that he just interviewed someone to work with him. He does Medicare insurance over the phone like I do, and this person had worked for one of these Medicare Advantage call centers. And what they would do is cold call, calling out seniors for Medicare Advantage, which is expressly prohibited in the law. You cannot cold call for Medicare Advantage. It's, again, one of those protections unique to Medicare Advantage. You have to wait for someone to reach out to you. You can do direct mail, but you cannot cold call. You cannot door knock. So this person was part of a call center focused on Medicare Advantage. They would do the cold call, but then they'd say, in order to be compliant, in order to be legal, you have to hang up the phone and call me and ask me about it. That's what I call shady. So anyway, I just wanted to share that with you, what's going on. That's someone else's experience and opinion. This was an email that we received today from one of the Part D drug carriers. We get timely notifications in the middle of the annual enrollment period, which lasts from October 15th through December 7th. During that time frame, you can pick your drug plan for the next year. Today, we received one from a pretty significant carrier that said, we want to make you aware of several issues with the new release of the Medicare Plan Finder tool. If you recall from these videos, back in September, they did a switch over to the brand new Plan Finder tool, screwing everything up, and they've been making little modifications, little tweaks as we go, as we're already like trying to fix the car while we're driving it. Drug pricing is not calculating correctly for carriers with plan designs that have a deductible that applies to specific tiers only. Also, mail order pricing is still only pricing for standard and not preferred mail order pharmacies. Until these matters are resolved, we encourage you and your clients to use our website, the carrier themselves, to check drug pricing. So specifically, and we've heard this repeatedly, if you are using mail order only for your drugs, there may be something, a glitch with the Plan Finder tool if you're using it right now, if that's all you're relying on. And remember, we made a website that redirects to the Plan Finder tool so that you don't have to go to Medicare.gov and click, find. It's just planfinder.org. If you go to planfinder.org, it bypasses all the other main stuff and goes straight into the Plan Finder tool. Just be careful if you rely heavily on mail order drugs. This is as recent as today. Then there's a story, this was shared with me by another agent. Actually, this was a YouTube comment, I believe it was from an agent, that when Medicare Advantage plans first came to the market, they called them, the government people gave it the moniker of Medicare risk plans. Why? I found an article about this from 2013. Medicare risk plans are a type of Medicare supplement coverage where the Medicare recipient assigns his benefits to an HMO. The HMO contracts with the federal government to provide medical services to the Medicare recipient at a discounted rate to the government. Hello, and that's before the industry got involved and got them to change the word to Medicare Advantage. So Medicare risk plan, I just love the language. It's where a Medicare recipient assigns his benefits to an HMO. The HMO contracts with the government to provide the services to the recipient at a discounted rate to the government. That's why they're pushing you there, folks. It's a discount to the government, and all the risk moves over to them instead of from the government. Anyway, I thought that was interesting. It was more aptly named back when it first got started. This is an article very interesting for anybody that you know. That we had a video some time ago about the time frames when you had to do things, start Part B and the like. And if you don't start Part B when you're turning 65, regardless of if you stayed on a what do they call it, marketplace plan, Obamacare type plan or not, you needed to start Part B, and you're not supposed to be able to keep those plans. Well, some people just did. They didn't know any different, and they were getting a subsidy and all the rest, only to find out later the subsidy is being pulled back because you're not eligible for it. You're eligible for Medicare and should have started Medicare. Well, this affected a whole lot of people, and they didn't know better. So when they finally found out and they went to get on Medicare on Part B, which you have to go sign up for affirmatively, then they found out they're going to have a penalty for life. A penalty for life, 10% per year, that they did not sign up for Part B when they should have. Well, this just broke in the news from the Medicare Rights Center. They do a lot of good stuff for Medicare, a lot of good stuff for the recipients out there. And let me just cover a couple of those. So this week, the Center for Medicare and Medicaid Services announced in guidance, the phase out and extension of critical relief pathway for current and former marketplace enrollees who mistakenly, it's a long day, y'all, who mistakenly delayed their Part B enrollment. Eligibility for this policy will now sunset June 30th, 2020. June 30th of 2020. So if this affected you before, you can get out of that Part B penalty. Again, you were on an Obamacare plan, you fell asleep or whatever happened, your birthday came and went, you did not sign up for Part B, now you've got that penalty for life. Under this time-limited policy known as equitable relief, I love that, that's a government term, equitable relief, people who are eligible for Medicare and have marketplace coverage can apply to enroll in Part B now without penalty. Those who have already transitioned to Medicare can request that any Part B late enrollment penalties they have received may be reduced or eliminated. By extending this policy, CMS is appropriately responding to the needs of people with Medicare. On our National Consumer Helpline, this is the Medicare Rights Center, we continue to hear from people who are struggling to navigate the marketplace to the Medicare transition or access equitable relief due to inadequate or incorrect federal agency guidance. That basically means is if you call Medicare and ask them about things like this in the news, it's very often that the frontline people at Medicare don't know about it. Anytime we have an issue with trial right, that somebody that's on a Medicare Advantage plan suddenly wakes up and says, oh my God, what did I do? I want to go back to original Medicare. They can exercise their trial right in some cases. And when they do, it's always the frontline folks at Medicare that just don't seem to know about it. We have to get management involved. It's just one of the things we do. CMS also announced plans to increase communication efforts to Medicare eligible individuals about the risks of delaying Part B enrollment. Well, that's good. In December 2019, that's next month, CMS will launch a new monthly mailing sent to all marketplace enrollees. That's smart. Within a month of their 65th birthday, the mailing will notify them of the important decisions related to Medicare that they need to do. The Medicare Rights Center recently joined a coalition of nearly 80 state and national organizations asking CMS to retain this important relief until the agency has sufficiently corrected the outreach and education issues that continue to cause serious enrollment errors. I'm just really glad that the people who call us for help get the right information. That kind of helps them out. Medicare Rights Center encourages older adults and people with disabilities who may be eligible for equitable relief to apply for this assistance and to contact the National Consumer Helpline with any questions or concerns. Importantly, CMS has clarified last year and again today that even after the eligibility window closes on June 30th, 2020, those who qualified for equitable relief while the policy was active can still access it at any time in the future. For questions, you can reach the Medicare Rights Free National Helpline at 1-800-333-4114. It's good work that those people are doing, and that's brand new in the news. If you know somebody who's getting a Part B penalty for Medicare because they didn't sign up in time, if they did so as a result of having a marketplace plan before, they can get relief on that. That could help somebody. This was shared by a YouTube subscriber. Thank you, Amy. She says, another point when selecting your Part D prescription plan is to be willing to consider, and I don't know why I didn't think about mentioning this in the video, consider changing your local pharmacy. I saved over $650 in total cost by switching from one national pharmacy to another. I looked for local pharmacies that were preferred in-network providers. Take your time and see what cost savings you can get just by changing your pharmacy. I appreciate all that I learned from your channel. Thanks for taking the time to educate consumers. Thank you, Amy. That is a big help. If you have tips, if you have tricks of things you've learned, please put them in our comment section on our channel. Okay, I want to share with you a couple of our websites. These are for various purposes, and if I think of a domain that might help somebody, I just go out there and create it and point it to a resource. So one of the things that we have, if you want to share what's going on with Plan N, if you've learned that from this channel, and this is what's going on with Plan F, Plan G, Plan N, what's the latest research on it? Robert in my office is a technical wizard, and he has done massive amounts of research. I think it was 18 months of data points of rate increases from various carriers showing the trend of what's going on with Plan G. And it just backs up the recommendation that if you can, if your health will allow, if it makes sense in your area, now may be the time to consider moving to Plan N. Again, if you're in good health, relatively good health, you don't see lots and lots of high-end specialists, that's like psychiatrists, maybe podiatrists and the like, this may be a good consideration. All that's covered in great detail in the video that you can be hooked up with the video right away by going to plannmedicare.org. It's just all education. I think it might help some people. Please pass that along if you know somebody that's on Plan F still, for goodness sakes. AmericanDentalCoverage.com. This is just a website that plays the video about one of our dental plans that we have a lot of people happy with. It's not available in every state, so if you see it on there and you're in a unique state where it is not currently available, please don't be mad at us if you reach out. I'll put those states where it's not available on that website here coming up soon. And that's AmericanDentalCoverage.com. It's for dental, vision, hearing. For anybody of any age, it's guarantee issue. There's no approval for it. You just get it if you want it. Very easy and quick, no health questions policy. Again, it has coverage for dental, vision, and hearing for like hearing aids. It's a neat plan. I'm a member myself. The other one is dentalsavingsforseniors.com. This is where you can access the PPO networks directly. Let's say that you don't have dental things happen all the time, but you need something done right stinking now. You have no idea where to go for it. Most of the other dental plans, the other ones included, that have major coverage, have that major coverage after some kind of a waiting period. So if you need to bypass the waiting period, strictly access the discounts that are available on PPO networks that carry the names such as Cigna, Aetna, and the like. Those dental network PPOs you can join directly by going to that website. You can just see what they cost and see what the discounts are. If you're willing to go into their networks, and these networks are pretty large, you can find a provider that's in the network. You can look that up. You can sign up for this plan. It takes about 5 minutes. It's effective the next day. So you can literally print your ID card and use it the next day, go in and save a lot of money. My family has been a member of one of these for a long, long time because family dental insurance is typically pretty expensive. With this, it was like $149 for the year. I think that's right. And so we could go in. My wife needed endodontic work or whatever it was, root canal, saved a small fortune. And again, no pre-existing conditions, no waiting periods and that kind of thing. So if that's something that you or somebody else you know need, bookmark that, and I think it'll save you a lot of money there. AllaboutMedicareAdvantage.com. I'm asked repeatedly by people who will get a pitch here and a pitch there, and they're saying, can you provide some balance on the other side besides the zero premium? Now this year, billions of dollars are being spent on the airwaves, pushing people toward just the $0 premium. We'll drive you to your appointment. We'll cook for you. We'll clean for you. We'll buy you a smartwatch. We'll do all this stuff with our government money. Just join our zero premium plan. Yes, there's another side to that. Yes, there's a counterbalance to that. I'm not at all saying that those plans don't have their place. They certainly do. But for the majority of people who are still remaining on original Medicare and considering those types of options, you need to see the other side, I believe. You need to see what the Office of Inspector General found when he audited some Medicare Advantage plans. You need to see what the Kaiser Family Foundation found when they're studying these plans and what people are usually experiencing, the makeup of the plans and so forth. All of those videos where I've covered those over the last few years can be found with just a simple YouTube playlist that's accessed by this domain. If it's not live yet, it probably will be within 24 hours because I came up with this idea today to, instead of keep sending out this long website address for the playlist of these videos simply to make it at the other end of this domain. So allaboutmedicareadvantage.com will point to that playlist so you can access those, and that'll be updated in real time. Now I want to share with you some of the commentary. I spend about an hour to hour and a half every night going through the comments of people that are sharing both successes, wins with Medicare, some of their struggles, unfortunately, and asking for help in some cases. People telling me that how ugly I am, which I appreciate, how much grease is in my hair, when I need a haircut, all the other stuff, which I really love. All the agents that give both love and hate, please keep the comments coming. I really enjoy them. I'm going to share with you just a couple of them from today that were, I think these were pretty recent. Yeah, last night. Tom said, great deep dive into the details about Plan N. My wife and I just switched from Plan F to Plan N with a different carrier. We saw our rate go down by $150 a month. We see that all the time. Thanks, Tom. We are making the same bet as you that over time Plan N will have a lower premium increases compared to other plans while providing extensive coverage. By the way, quiz for you. What does it cost to go into the hospital on Plan N? Plan N is going to save you about 20 or 30% over Plan G. What's it going to cost to go into the hospital? Same thing as Plan G. Ironically, that's $0 to any hospital in the country that accepts Medicare, which is just about all of them. I digress. Tom says, we are in our early 70s and are in good health and don't plan on croaking anytime soon. So we are trying to make sure we have the best plan for years to come. Good job, Tom. Sometimes people just stay put where they are because they have the fear of change. And you need to give up that fear of change, because what happens if you apply for a new Medicare supplement and you're not approved? You still get to keep the same coverage that you're used to, that you're paying too much for now. So heads you win, tails you don't lose. It's just worth trying. It's worth going through the process to see if you could. Robert says, love my experience with all of you last week. Melanie in particular. Melanie rocks. Melanie loves her clients, let me tell you. She is so passionate about getting people approved on a plan that will fit and saving them money. She shares all of those wins with us in the office, and it lifts all of us up. Thank you, Chris. Hope wifey gets better. She has. She's getting really better. If I get to Charleston, I'd love to take you to Coconut Joe's. That would be awesome. Our favorite view to go to. Down there, Susan says, thank you so much for answering my questions in this crazy time. That's what I get to do at 10 o'clock to 11 o'clock at night, is answer these types of questions on the comments there. Lexington said, Chris, it's a shame that good people doing all they can for others have to endure unwarranted abuse. Boy, I had a story today. Woo! Bless him, Lord. It's obvious from your videos that you are an honest, sincere, compassionate person. Oh, thank you. Putting the clients and all those who benefit from your extensive video library as your first business priority. When I researched 3 years ago Medicare, I was approaching 65. I studied every day for nearly 6 months, anything I could. I did see some of your videos. I knew I should stay with original Medicare based on my research, but you were the one that set me clearly on the Plan G path then. Didn't fully trust going through any agent, as I was encountering many high-pressure input from other organizations. I know about that. And could see the many misrepresentations some were pushing as facts. So I went directly to the insurer. I've been happy with them, but I'm looking to consider Plan N in the near spring when my policy renews. I hope at that time to be a happy and proud and say I go with Chris Westfall and his team. Thank you so much, Lexington, for considering letting us help you. And then JWSLKS says, you and your entire team at Senior Savings Network do a fabulous job. Thank you so much. Jude says, good info. It makes me so mad to hear stories like the abuse of your wife and staff go through, because every time I've called, I've always gotten great customer service, great customer relationship. Evidently, those people never dealt with the cable companies or mobile phone companies. Gosh, that's the truth. As those are the worst customers ever. You know, I can understand if people are calling in here and my people were mean to them, mad at them, completely blowing them off, incompetent, blew off their appointments or whatever, but that doesn't happen, and still apparently we get the rage from time to time. I'm holding a couple of those in reserves to see if I am allowed to share those, because they're just mind-blowing. This is a little picture from today. Some of our ladies got dressed up for Halloween. That's my wife Nicole there with the cat outfit. Liz was a unicorn. Gosh, I cut off her horn thing. Rochelle was the doctor taking everybody's vitals today. I didn't let her, no. And then this thing from Casey apparently is from a movie called It that I didn't see. I heard it's scary. And then the fairy godmother, Haley, was today. So they looked really good in the office, and we had a good day. I just want to share with you this. There are some things coming up with Medicare, some bills pending that may or may not affect Medicare. It looks like Medicare for All is teetering out in the Democratic side of the House, as they can't quite figure out how to communicate how anyone would ever pay for it, because they're just missing that 40 years of working up to Medicare age to pay for it. And there's just so many people willing to spend the money, but nobody willing to actually save and find the money. So I think that's kind of a done deal. Things will evolve. Things will continue to change with Medicare all the time. Please be careful of the people calling after you sign up for a Part D drug plan. Be careful. You're going to get a strange pitch that sounds too good to be true. I encourage you to look at the details, ask a lot of questions, ask about network restrictions, ask about operation restrictions. If your doctor says you need an operation, how many people up the chain need to say yes? What guidelines do they follow? Do they follow original Medicare guidelines that says if it's medically necessary, it's approved, and they listen to the doctor? Or do they have guidelines that are far more restrictive in order to just save money? See, insurance is all about protecting yourself from risk. It's the assignment of risk to someone else instead of you taking on the risk so that you go bankrupt. And when you're assigning risk to someone else, you really want to know how much risk they are really holding. If the money that they're getting does not come from you, it comes from the government, you have no idea how much they're getting paid to manage a risk, how far they have to squeeze their budget in order to manage the risk, because the only other moving variable there is what they approve and what they decline when it comes to major care. Remember the cancer doctor that I had on a few days ago talking about where the emphasis is on the HMO plans is to squeeze every dollar out. And when you're considering an HMO or a Medicare supplement, if you're going to go have cancer treatment one day, he as a specialist and oncologist was very clear about that choice. He gave his opinion. If you've ever been treated for cancer before, you're considering a Medicare Advantage type plan, please go talk to your oncologist. Get their opinion. Get a specialist's opinion. Go to an orthopedic practice. Get their opinion. Find out what the limitations are in a worst case scenario, because that is what insurance is for. Insurance is not for what you could go down to a CVS pharmacy, walk in and go to a Doc in a Box and get a prescription for a head cold. Insurance is for the major things that decide whether or not you're going to live or not. Those life and death decisions are not ones to be toyed with a rinky-dink Mickey Mouse $0 plan that has more restrictions on it than you could shake a stick at, but no one bothers to explain it or research it until when? Until it's too late. Until it's too late. So just do your due diligence, do your research. And if you've got a real smiling, good-looking agent staring you in the face and saying, just sign here and all your troubles will go away, please listen to that little check inside of you and go do some more research and find out what other people have experienced, what happens in a worst case scenario, what's the limitation on networks, could my doctor leave any time, when is my doctor's contract up, do I have to pick a primary care doctor, do I have to get referrals to specialists, do the specialists ever change? I mean, there was a study done, I think this was a Kaiser Family Foundation study 2 years ago, that found that all of the provider directories that were out there were out of date the minute they were printed. So what are you supposed to do? Call the doctor. Hey, are you in the network today? Hey, are you still in the network? Hey, are you in the network today? And they go, okay, let's try to lock him in for my 1 year contract, which is not going to be the same contract year that the provider's on, hoping that they don't leave so that while I'm here, they're still going to be there. It's just things you need to educate yourself on, and that's all I'm seeking to do in this channel, is provide more education and the changes that are happening in Medicare. I want to commend the Medicare Rights Center once again for this awesome work that they did on getting some relief for the people who were not getting guidance when they were turning 65, and they stayed on this marketplace plan. At least those people can get some relief. We hear stories all the time of other people saying, well, I just didn't know about you. None of my friends shared your YouTube channel with me. I just stumbled across it. I accidentally found it now when I was searching for something having to do with Medicare. So if you think that anything on here about the timeliness of things happening with Medicare, when people have to do things, their options, the whole myriad of options, which includes Medicare, Medicare Supplement, Medicare Advantage, Part D drug plans, might be of value to someone who's either on Medicare or going to be on Medicare in the future, please feel free to share this channel. I would really appreciate it if you did. If you haven't already, please subscribe. Please like the video if it did anything for you at all. I'll continue to work hard both here in the office, both with our staff, both trying to make everybody happy that calls in here and continue with the content by scouring the news every morning like I do at 5 a.m. and then all the way answering the comments at 10 p.m. to make sure that I can bring some value to you, whether you're our customer or not. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day.
I just wanted to see kind of where you're at with all this.
That's great. Doc is in the house.
Well, you should get all the Android together. That's
All right, can I see your outfit? Yeah, of course.
Should I clean up all my dirty dishes on my desk?
No, of course not.
I forgot it.
That is cute. All right, who are you?
Fairy godmother.
Fairy godmother. Very cool.